moment. It's brought to you by Hyundai. Karl Anthony Towns had himself a night, but it wasn't quite enough. We're going to start with the good here for the New York Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns pulling up for three. They wanted him in part to stretch the floor here, Tim.
Yeah, they do. They think the spacing could be better. Julius Randle's a different type of offensive player. Karl Anthony Towns, one of the best shooting bigs in the league, but he can also do this, finish with power.
It helps when you can get inside. MSG crowd is fired up after that one. Let's go ahead to the fourth here, though. The game is all knotted up at 102. Karl Anthony Towns knocking down another big shot for the Knicks to take a lead here. And then that nice little handoff to Cat.
Great job. Late cut, late find. Karl Anthony Towns getting to the rim when they desperately needed it, trying to finish this comeback.
Towns had 17 points in the fourth quarter. He would finish with 46 here. Once again, Jalen Brunson, nice little jumper there for him. The Knicks take a 2-point lead with 36 seconds left. After the Bulls tie it on free throws, Knicks ball, 10 to play. Brunson working here, drives inside, gets that one to go. The Knicks, they lead by 2 with 4 seconds on the clock. Chicago would call a timeout. But here's the thing, as Josh Giddey inbounds the ball here, watch Kobe White. That is a foul, even if you get hair first.
I'd be upset if anybody touches my hair at any point. I can tell you right now. It's an overly aggressive contest in that situation, in my opinion.
Well, Kobe White goes on to make the free throws. Hart was in disbelief about how all this went down. One more shot here. Jalen Brunson, he gets a good look at it. Oh, that's as close as you can get, except for down.
It was so far down, they should give him 1 point. Give him 1 point.
But that's not what happened, and I hear Kendrick Perkins spies something.
I'm kidding, bro. Look, my mentions have been blowing up on social media from the New York fans, right? Listen, I am the self-proclaimed governor of the New York Knicks, but guess what? At times, governors have to show tough love. Don't come telling me stay on that side and all this. Listen, I want to see consistent defense from the New York Knicks. We did not see that last night. Look, in rotation, this is the fourth quarter. You're down 1. Look at this rotation. No, there's no energy there. You make a contest, giving up an offensive rebound, not a good look. Here it is again, fourth quarter. You're down 3. After a made basket, okay? This is transition. No talking, no communication whatsoever. Look at guys running. By the way, this is a guy by the name of Kobe White, a guy that could light it up. You don't find him in transition. The Knicks end up losing. These are the plays that don't show up when you lose by 1. Defensive efficiency rank. Last season, 9th in the NBA. This season, 20th in the NBA. This is not what Tom Thibodeau teams do. They play defense on a consistent basis. You can't go into Philadelphia, hold the team under 99, and then come back out on the back-to-back and do what you did last night and let Chicago light you up.
Yeah, defensively, they're having a lot of rim protection issues. I know a lot of folks want to point the finger at Cat, but it goes well beyond that. This was a winnable game in large part because of Karl Anthony Towns. How do they find some sort of consistency here?
It doesn't feel or look the same, does it? It's just not as physical, not as tough. They also lost 2 other major energizers, right? Dante DiVincenzo, Isaiah Hartenstein. Like, you can't really quantify what they meant to that team, particularly at home. Any contribution from those guys electrified the crowd. It got their entire defense up and energized. Look, you've got guys like Mikal Bridges, you got OG Anunoby, you got Josh Hart. You should be really good on the perimeter defensively. I just don't feel the physicality when I'm watching this team right now. They seem like they want to outscore you. They've got to get back to what they were a year ago, get that toughness back. There's still a lot of room here to climb in the Eastern Conference. No one's run away from them.
4th worst team in rim protection this season. Like you just said, you just laid out a great defensive stat as well. They're missing that defensive anchor still. And Mitchell Robinson is a guy that I'm keeping my eye on. I'm told he's still targeting a January return. Okay. But how he looks, how he comes back, that's going to dictate a lot of what the Knicks' next few months are going to look like, what moves they could make, because this is a team that's gone all in. They've depleted all their assets. They don't have many tradable salaries beyond a few on their bench. So what does Mitchell Robinson look like? That's what I've got my eye on.
Well, he's going to bring depth because obviously right now Tom Thibodeau don't trust their bench. And you look at what they did against the Philadelphia 76ers. They got a great win. They held them under 33% shooting for the game. But then you look at the minutes that were played. 35 minutes for Mikal Bridges, 41 minutes for OG Anunoby, 38 minutes for Towns, 35 minutes for Jalen Brunson, 37 minutes for Josh Hart, knowing that you have a back-to-back. right? So it's Tom Thibodeau trusting those guys to say, you know what, we're going to have a bench so that I'm going to trust my guys on the bench so that I don't have to play my starters the entire second half, knowing that I got a back-to-back the next night.
OG Anunoby has been a bright spot, at least defensively here for this Knicks team, but Mikal Bridges may be needing a little bit more from what we saw in Phoenix rather than what we're seeing right now. Did you catch this? I know your mentions have been on fire, but I'm sure Monica McNuts have as well, because behind her here, Karl-Anthony Towns in full uniform after the game, getting some free throws up. What do you make of this, Perk?
What old school Mark Bryant, MB, my guy, but I just think it was more for Karl-Anthony Towns, right? Like just being in the moment. You know, he had missed 4 crucial free throws in the fourth quarter. So, you know, that was just him being in the sanctuary. Nothing to take away from him.
Not to matter. Let's be honest, y'all. It is Wemby's world, and we are all just living in it. It was a career night for the sophomore sensation, and we'll show you exactly how this one went down. Picking this up in the second quarter against fellow Frenchman here, Alex Sarr. We've been waiting for this two-man game to develop, and also Wemby's jumper here, Perk.
Absolutely, but look, using the screen and roll. This is what you brought CP3 in. Great action right there. Getting big Giannis Valanciunas out on the perimeter, getting his feet set, having the spacing. It's a contested shot, but it's not that contested.
24 points in the first half for Wemby, the most in a first half in his career. Going ahead to the third here, this is really when he started to open up from three.
Yeah, look, he was feeling it, obviously. He's got a great stroke, and he was going to distances that was making it very difficult to rotate to him, particularly with that kind of length. If you're not there early, he's going to get that shot off, and he gets into a groove. This is what he's capable of.
On the inbounds pass there from Paul Wembanyama for yet another three, and if you thought he was done, oh no, the Spurs working around to Wembanyama again from deep here. 19-point third quarter for Wemby. He shot 4 of 4 from beyond the arc. And then we were on the watch for 50. And what was cool is that they left him in because they needed it in order to ice this game.
Yeah, Wizards made a run. They were down 20, and they got it to like 12. And they were like, you know what, we're going to put Wemby back in the game, see if he can get the big 5-0.
And here is what it sounded like on the Spurs broadcast the moment he did.
Wembanyama, guarded by Kispert, turns, shoots, and swishes for 50. He's not human. He's an alien.
A milestone night for Wembanyama. His first 50-piece leads the Spurs to a 139-130 win. But it feels like he's really finding his stride here, Tim. How has he found that rhythm this week?
He's lost his indecisiveness. When I saw him against Oklahoma City maybe 10 days ago or so, he took 5 shots in that game. He did not attempt a field goal in the second half. I saw him several times get ready to rise up off the floor and then just decide not to go up. And clearly he was overthinking it. Since that game, he's taken over 20 shots 4 times. So he is in a completely different place now mentally. The indecisiveness is gone, and this is what he can do because you really can't contest these shots because of the length and where he's releasing the basketball from. Now he's in a rhythm. It sets up the rest of his game when he's making shots.
Players have really rallied around the freedom that Mitch Johnson has given them. I think when you think about Victor Wembanyama, his outside shot has opened up everything about his game. And I think it just goes to show players have really rallied around Mitch Johnson. It's the freedom he's given guys like Victor Wembanyama on offense.
I'm looking at who he's playing with right now, right? And no knock on a young man Sohan, but since he's been out, right, Victor Wembanyama has been averaging, about 27 points, shooting over 50% from the field and the three-point line. And I was always worried because I thought Sohan benefited more from Victor than Victor benefited from him. Now you have a lineup where you have Harrison Bowen, CP3, and Castle. Now you have more spacing, and now those rotations are just a little bit more harder, and now the paint opened up as well.
Well, Wemby is averaging 36 points a game over his last 3 games. A lot of that is because of the uptick in three-point shooting. We're going to talk more about his big night coming up here on our show. Also, how do the 5-6 Knicks find some sort of... They have the Pelicans to 88 points in a win. They didn't have a single starter over 6'6". Legs, can they keep this up waiting for their bigs to get healthy here?
They can against most teams because very few teams in this league are just going to beat you up inside. They have a lot of versatility, quickness. They've got athletes. They've got great switchability. And their best defense is a highly efficient offense. So, yes, I think Oklahoma City can continue to win while they wait on getting some size back.
Let's head over to Brooklyn, shall we? That's where the Celtics, they beat the Nets by 25. Boston was on a back-to-back after losing to the Hawks on Tuesday. They're 3 games behind Cleveland. Perk, do you still think they're the best team in the East?
best team in the East. They're still the best team in the league. They still have Derek White, Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Drew Holiday, right?
Yes, sir.
Kristaps Porzingis is still on the roster, right?
Yes.
And you know what else? They got a guy by the name of Peyton Pritchard who might win Sixth Man of the Year. I know it's early, but who's averaging 16 points off the bench, shooting 40.